Now, I don't know about you guys, but I have a problem, and it's kind of a big problem. I'm a gear addict. I love gear. And I'm sure some of you guys probably share the same passion as me, but there's a problem, and it can certainly become a problem in your business as far as photography goes, or so I've seen with mine. Let me give you an example. I had a shoot probably about a couple months ago, and I was borrowing one of my friend's lenses. It was a Canon 50L 1.2, and if I could give you any piece of advice, it would be don't rent gear and don't borrow gear, because once you use it, if you like it, it's very hard, first of all, to give that lens back to them, but it's also very hard to then think that you can do a shoot without that lens. And so another example that kind of goes along with the 50mm, I used it and I loved it and I wanted to buy it, but I just didn't have the funds at the time. But what I did have was the 51.8 from Canon, which if anybody of you know Canon lenses, it's their really cheap introductory 1.8 50mm. Now there's nothing wrong with it. I think it's surprisingly, it's an impressive lens. It's very sharp. The focusing is obviously garbage, but if you use it for manual focus stuff, for video, or even for photo work, it's incredible. And so I had a shoot coming up, and I really wanted to use the 51.2 because I had gotten really used to it, and I love the look. I love how sharp it was. I love the bokeh, whatever, however you like to call it. I like to call it bokeh. I love the look of it. And so I thought in my head, like, oh man, maybe I should postpone this shoot because I don't have the 50 and I love that look, but I had a 35 and a 7200 and a wide angle and a couple other random lenses. And so I started thinking, it's like, you know, first off, the client will never tell between a 51.8 and a 51.2, depending on how you use it. The most important thing that I've learned is the light and obviously the subject that you're shooting. That's all people care about. That's all clients care about. They care about the content, not necessarily the lens it was shot with. Now, those are all amazing. Those can all obviously help in creating an image that is visually appealing. But what I've found is, even with the 51.8, if you shoot it like you would have shot it with the 51.2, or let's say, in the same light and the same subject and whatnot, it almost looks the same. And I was kind of blown away because I got the 51.2 recently and compared the two, and I was like, you know, there's not the biggest difference that I can see. There's a little bit, but would the client see that? It's very doubtful. This is kind of a thing that I've struggled with, is buying the most expensive gear. And there are reasons to buy Canon or Nikon premium lenses. If you're shooting weddings, they're built better, they focus better. But if we're talking strictly you can't afford it, and you're not shooting until you can afford it, I think it's a bad rut to get into, because you could be, let's say, buying a really cheap Canon body, one of their Rebel or Nikon's D series. I don't know what their cameras are. I don't really follow them. And you could buy one with the money you have now. You could buy a 51.8 and you could shoot and start producing work and learning and working with people and learning light. Or you could just wait and sit on your butt, like I've done several times, and wait till you get all of the money and then buy that perfect lens or that perfect body, and then realize that it's not the lens or the camera body that makes the photo. It's in fact you. And so that's something that it's hard to wrap your mind around, because we want the gear to do the work for us. And obviously we love amazing gear, but the most important thing, again, is the content, the subject, and obviously I think light. I think light is huge. I think you can make any lens look good. And so next couple of videos I'm gonna do in a different series, not yet, but I want to kind of show the possibilities of shooting with a 51.8 versus a 1.2 on a Rebel or on a 5D3 or a 2 or whatnot. I want to show the differences, just so people understand that you do not need the best gear to start out. I think that is something that people think. to become a professional photographer, I need this camera, I need this body, this industry standard. You don't. And so stay tuned. If you haven't watched my other video I posted about memory card management, very important thing when you're on the job shooting weddings or any important clients. So until now, or until next time, see you guys.